he ends up defeating Petr Yan by split decision. The scorecard's reading 29-28, 28-29, 29-28. He gets the dub, biggest win of his career. He just got moved to number 1 in the rankings, which is generally a pretty good indicator to tell somebody's going to get a title shot next. Jan was ranked 1 before that, but we've seen guys get shit, dude. We just talked about it like in the green room. Leon Edwards is ranked lower than Usman pound for pound, even though he beat him. We see stuff like that direct all the time. But Sean overtook Jan. He's ranked number 1. But there is a lot of controversy in this one. And I feel like controversy is almost understating it. People are acting like this is the biggest robbery of all time.
Are they going to die on the sword for this one, Josh?
You're going to die on the sword for this one?
I mean, I don't, I'm not going to. For me, there's not much argument,
All right, well, let's go ahead and get into it, man. I mean, give me your thoughts on the fight. Give me your thoughts on how you scored it and kind of all the controversy coming out of it.
It was a fun fight, man. There was a lot riding on this. This was a big fight for Sean. Kind of potentially his coming out party in a sense, right? Not exactly. I mean, it was. I'm gonna kind of build up into this a little bit. He came out to superstar, right, which was like perfect because it was what he came back to when he fought Quinones. It was Jose Quinones back after his layoff with the whole that whole situation. We're not gonna get it. Yeah, we're not gonna get into it. That's in the past now, right? But come on, Josh. But it was, and he's had this kind of rise, man, that only people in this area. I kind of want to build it upon, or I kind of want to compare it to, and it's not the same. It's very different. These guys, I think, are at very different points of their career. But kind of like Ryan Garcia, man, where he grew up in the social media era, and they're building upon that. And just like him, dude, I remember Ryan got this knockout. It was his first camp with Adrian Reynoso against, I think it was like Jose Lopez. First round finish, obviously very different. Walks out the superstar, gets on the ropes. I referenced this moment again. He's overlooking the crowd. Canelo's in the crowd. Golden Boy's in the crowd. Music starts playing. Bam. Super. And it's kind of like, damn. This kid is a star. He's going to be a star. Everything. He's got the looks. He's got the style. He's got the ability. He's got the people behind him. For Sean, I feel like it's almost a little bit of similar but different, right? Mm-hmm. He's been talking his shit. He's been calling people out. He's called out Petr undisputedly. He gets the fight and he wins. Now, as far as the fight itself, you asked me that. I kind of wanted to build into it a little bit. I gave him round 1 and 3. I think 2 is unquestionably Petr's. There's no question about it. The big argument is round 1. I rewatched it today. I gave Sean round 1. I thought for me, it wasn't too much of a question about it. There seems to be a lot of controversy about it. Look, I get it. The round was close. But I really, really was able to edge it out to Sean. I'm gonna just keep it as simple as it is. And shit, I think he did it. He shut a lot of people up. The chin, the wrestling, the leg kicks, all of that happened. He answered all those questions. And he dealt with it all. He showed his toughness. You could tell at one point there was an adrenaline dump and he was out of breath and he recovered. Not fully, not perfectly maybe, but he kind of rallied back and he stayed in it. He didn't mentally break.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe you're referring to after round 2. He went ahead and he looked winded, and he had just lost round 2 pretty badly. So, yeah, I mean, look, man, when it comes to this fight, is it a robbery? No. And I'll go ahead and say this. If you think it's a robbery, you're a dumbass. No, you're not a dumbass. You are wrong, though, if you think it's a robbery. I'll put it like this. I think this is a fight that it's I said this, I think I referenced this whenever Izzy fought Whitaker. It's probably the last time I said this in the rematch. There are a series of results that I think are fine for this fight. That's what I think. Like a series of possible anything from 29, 28 Jan to
God, Josh, 29, you should be a politician.
29, 28 O'Malley to even a draw. I think you can make a backwards case for it. You know what I mean? Because O'Malley was so dominant in round 3. If you want to go and give him a 10-8, I wouldn't mind, especially under the new scoring rules where damage is a big deal. I mean, just a couple of things out of the way. Round 3, clear for Sean. If you think it was for Jan, you're dumb. That's about as simple as it gets. Not only did he inflict clear damage, he went ahead and, I mean, did Jan do much of it? I know that he got outstruck by 25 significant strikes. Double digits. If he scored that round for Jan, the whole thing, Sean and Jan, I'm fucking up. But yeah, anyways, yeah, if you went ahead and scored for Jan round 3, you're wrong. If you scored round 2 for Sean, you're wrong. But I don't think there's any debate about that one. Round 1 is what it all comes down to. If you scored that round for Jan, I don't have a problem with it. In the moment, I scored it for Sean. That's how I scored it in the moment. But if you scored that one for Jan, more power to you. I mean, he got one, again, I believe he got a takedown. He had a minute of control time, but he was also outstruck by 5 or 6 significant strikes. If you count those 5 or 6 more than the takedown where he didn't do anything, that's fine. So that's how I feel about it. I think that the whole crying about a robbery is so over the top, especially considering it's the second time that people are doing this for Jan. Like, I mentioned earlier, I don't know how you could score that the Sterling rematch for Jan, but people cried about that one. Now they're crying about this one, but for different reasons. So I feel like people just want a reason to whine. But I thought this fight was very, very close. I scored it for Sean in the moment. Watching it back, I can see clear that, like, okay, maybe Jan did win that one, but it's far from a robbery. It's a very, very close fight. And if you didn't, like, if you wanted it to make sure that, like, I hate this phrase, but don't leave it in the hands of the judges. If you wanted Jan to win this one cleanly, he should have done anything on the ground. Anything. He did nothing. He did not try to pass. He did not try and lay in ground and pound. He did not go for a single sub attempt. The only person that this lies with is Jan for not doing anything on the ground. Anything on the mat. This is not an Aljamain Sterling like rematch with Jan where he beat the shit out of him from the backpack position and tried to go for sub attempts. Jan did nothing. That's why the fight result was what it was. Damage is supposed to count for more, and Sean O'Malley did more damage in rounds 1 and 3. That's the way it works. So
I mean, credit to Sean because he didn't allow him to do that damage either.
Yeah, correct. Obviously, it's not easy to go ahead and inflict all sorts of damage, but he took him down to try and take him out of his element, to try and probably gas him, try and hope for an adrenaline dump. But if you're taking him down, you're taking him out of his element, but you're also not doing anything, and he gets right back up, how much does that score for? In my opinion, doesn't score for much. So that's how I feel about it.